Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allison if you're new here, and welcome to Wonderland. Today I'm talking all about publishing houses. I got a request to talk about my publishing house that I own, and it's called Papillon House Press. I always get like super serious when I say it. I don't know why, but Papillon means butterfly in French. The reason I chose that name is because my Mimi, I was really close with her. She, one, loves butterflies, and two, she grew up just outside of Paris when she was younger, so she was French, and she talked in French, and she had a really thick French accent. But I wanted to talk about publishing houses and what I would have loved to know before I self-published, and kind of give some advice to those who are going to self-publish. I think this is really important because these are questions I would have had when I was going through the process, and I want to be able to give that to someone so they aren't struggling as much as I am. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I have a publishing house. Now, if you don't know, there are multiple different ways you can self-publish. Now there's more than when I self-published. Within a year, things have just boomed. But when I was self-publishing, the options were KDP or Ingram Spark. And for me, I wanted hardcovers, and KDP doesn't offer hardcovers, or they might now, but I don't think they do. So Ingram Spark was my route to go through. Now, Ingram Spark is not free. It is about $50 for the upload, so you really want to be careful with that. I can go all into detail with that another time, talk about it, talk about the uploading process and all of that. But with Ingram Spark, you do have to have a publishing house. So that's why I got mine. And now let's talk about the pros and the cons, because this is another play into why I did it. But I think these are pros and cons you could weigh for yourself. So the first one is it looks professional for you. This is my book, Dark Radiance. It has this little emblem on the side. It's not focusing on my camera, so I will put it up right here. But that is my logo. It's a butterfly, and it says Papillon House Press on the side. And then also inside my book, I also have the logo right there where normal publishing houses are, so that's where I put mine. Also another thing is that you as a person are more protected when you are under a company LLC. So my publishing house is an LLC. It's a company. I, own the company. It's protected under my state laws. And if there was ever an issue with like someone trying to pirate my books or plagiarize, or, say I plagiarized or sue me for something, my company is more protected because it is under LLC law of Arizona. I don't know about any other state law, but for me, that was a big factor that I wanted to be protected. I wanted to make sure that if something happened, that I had an LLC to, pull documents, pull legal paperwork together for a lawyer or anything like that. God forbid that ever happened, but it protects you. Another thing I'm not really gonna get into because I don't understand it. Even as an adult, I still don't get this, but it makes taxes easier. I have someone that does my taxes for me. They do my parents' taxes, and I spoke to them about it last year, and he just said to make sure I keep all my business stuff together. But because I'm a company and because it's an LLC, it makes it easier on them. Now let's talk about the cons. I only really have one con to having a publishing house, and that is that it can be expensive to file for that initial LLC. I think it was like $50 to $150, somewhere in that bracket. I don't really remember, but it was an expensive kind of thing that I had to take into account for my business. And for my first book publishing, it was an expense that I had to take out. So if that's something you have to weigh, if you're willing to pay the money, then do it. If you're not willing to pay the money, maybe don't do it. But each state is different with their filing and their costs, because I know I spoke to another friend and they were like back east and their cost was way lower than Arizona. So you just have to look into it for yourself. I just typed in Google how much does it cost to file an LLC in Arizona, and it pulled it up, and there it was. And I did it all online as well. I didn't have to like go in and file. It was just all online. And the last question is, do I need one? No, you don't necessarily need to have a publishing house or anything like that to be a successful author. I know a lot of very successful authors who publish under their own name, who publish with KDP and are very happy that way, and they don't want to change and they don't want to own a publishing house. So there's nothing wrong with that, and it's just a personal preference. You have to weigh your pros and cons. If any of these pros made you like have a light bulb, maybe it's something you should consider, but it is not necessary. I know a lot of very successful authors who don't own a publishing house. But if you have any other questions about publishing houses, please leave them down below. I will try my best to answer them. Those were just the questions that I know I had when I was first self-publishing and I was trying to, you know, navigate my way through trying to figure out if I wanted a publishing house, if I didn't, and where I was going to publish. But I will try my best to answer all your questions. But I will see you next time in Wonderland, loves. Bye!